I've never been so happy.
Oh boy.
That's to see a full boat before you.
Welcome to For Your Amusement, a theme park podcast that aims to exhaustively evaluate the world's most popular theme park attractions to determine if they are world class. I'm Ryan Bergara.
I'm Byron Marin.
And for this episode's featured attraction, we finally unpack my bachelor party at Disney World, in which Frozen Ever After was arguably the pinnacle of the entire trip, believe it or not. So let's discuss Frozen Ever After in Epcot, Walt Disney World, Orlando, Florida, with versions of it also in Hong Kong Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea. And joining us in the icy tundra is my other partner in crime at Watcher, the tall man himself, Shane Madej.
Hi. A two-timer.
Two-timer. You're not part of the three-timer club yet.
Yeah, you've had someone on 3 times.
That's right. They got a smoker jacket.
That's fucked up. Oh, do you guys say fucks on this one? I can't remember.
We can say fuck all you want.
Fuck all you want.
Also, I really don't exist on this show.
I know. It's unfortunate. They don't like Matt on this one.
I don't think Matt likes to be on this show. And per our announcement earlier, go ahead and subscribe to youtube.com/@FYApod right now so you can catch all new episodes of For Your Amusement starting October 1st. We got one left here on this channel, not counting this one. Our last episode will be with Matt Rial.
Oh my God.
The estranged producer of this show, soon to be former producer of this show. And that's going to be coming next week. And after that, we're going to be over at youtube.com/@FYApod starting October 1st with Defunct Land. And if you're listening, please continue to listen to this show wherever you have been and rate the podcast 5 stars, please. And hey, tell a friend. It's going to help us keep this thing alive. We're going to need it now because we are on our own. Right.
Open waters, baby.
That's right.
We got it.
It's exactly where we want to be. Frozen Ever After. You have no love for this ride, Shane. Normally the guest picks the ride for the episode.
Yeah, you just told me, hey, you're going to be on this episode. We're talking about Frozen Ever After. I said, okay.
The reason being is we all had a shared experience on this ride that really transcends
That's
theme
true.
parks.
Yeah.
I think bar none, I can't think of another. No, I really do think this is the drunkest I have ever been on a ride in my entire life.
It's possible for me. Yeah.
It's
quite
alarming
possible.
if it's not. This is because we got.
It was a hot day. I was sweating a lot.
We for context, this ride is in Epcot and it's nestled within the end, basically, of the World Showcase. And we had
or the beginning for some,
or the beginning.
Is a heated debate.
Yeah, if you start in Canada or you start in Mexico. We started in Canada. We drank around the world for my bachelor party. You could imagine how that went.
You like to start in Canada, right?
I like starting in
Canada.
Canada.
Because you like to end in Mexico.
I like ending in Mexico. I think that's the superior way to
go
do
back to your roots.
You also
talk to your ancestors.
Yeah, that's exactly. I spend time looking into that pool of the Three Caballeros, right? The Grand Fiesta. I just think it's a weird thing to look at that beautiful indoor pueblo.
It's gorgeous.
It's
gorgeous.
With sober eyes. It feels wrong. I'll look at some weird totem poles.
Did we go on that when we were the Three Caballeros? I think that might have been the first time I ever rode that.
We did. I think we did get on that.
Oh, that was fun.
That's a sleepy ride when you are inebriated, though.
Yeah, when you're almost passed out.
Yeah, because we had just done essentially 10 countries, 10 drinks, and then got on Frozen Ever After. And boy, what a party it was in that boat. We actually had the pleasure of having the entire boat to ourselves.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that was actually only the second time I had been on this ride. And the first time I barely remembered it because I was going in the heat of summer and I was like, just get me out of the heat.
This was the first, I think this was my first time on it. Yes, with you. The first and only time I rode it.
Well, let's just jump into first impressions. What was your first impression of the ride?
So, as discussed, it has a long history as Maelstrom.
Yeah.
And Maelstrom is a ride that I had a lot of affection for.
Yeah, because you went to Disney World as a child.
As a little baby boy.
It was like your, I guess, home park, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
That.
And I think there's something exciting to a child about... I'd like to make a case for rides that aren't connected to IP because you go into them kind of being like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You go to a Ratatouille ride, you're going to see the rat making his food.
It's in the name.
You go to I want to go Splash Mountain. You're going to see those nasty gators and that bear. Is he a bear?
We don't need to talk about the characters or the basis of Splash Mountain here. I don't think that
Of
this
course
is the,
not.
this is
We don't
not,
need to
this is not the
unpack that
forum to
one.
unpack that bad boy.
You know, I know, Ryan, you're a huge fan of Song of the South, so obviously. So rides like Alien Encounter, Extraterrestrial, and
which we're going to be covering with Defunctlands in it's the
beautiful.
first episode on the new channel.
Another ride that was just hugely impactful.
I cannot
on me as a
wait.
child. And Maelstrom, you're just going into it being like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
What's occurring?
Trolls?
And then you meet the trolls and they're talking a bunch of shit at you. And then
Disappear.
Yeah. And then send you backwards. And it's like a little spooky, but not terribly frightening.
But
It's
it
a fun
feels
vibe.
within the spirit of the World Showcase,
Absolutely.
which we'll talk about a little bit.
Yeah,
with this
And
ride.
most importantly, the spirit of Norway.
Oh, yeah. Because then when you would
That's
get
true.
off the ride, I don't know what they have there now, but you would walk past like this thing where they'd be like, and of course the infrastructure.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
you
always
got the,
do.
you got the oil rig at the end of the ride.
Yes.
Then they had the film that they originally used to like sit you in.
Yeah.
You had to sit there for 5
Yeah.
minutes and watch the film, which was called The Spirit of Norway.
Yeah.
Most of the rides in the World Showcase have to have some sort of edutainment aspect to them, and I would say
I
a
guess that's
majority
gone
of
out the
them.
window, huh?
Kind of. Well, once you have Ratatouille making an omelet, then it's
And
kind
Frozen.
of gone.
There's not a lot going on. there.
Well, Frozen is a fictional place,
Yeah.
so
What's the kingdom called?
Arendelle.
But
Is it Arendelle or Arendelle? It's Arendelle, I think. I think it's
it's
Arendelle.
spelled Delle.
I had one last hurrah with Maelstrom because I went to the last time I went to Disney World before your bachelor party was on a friend trip in like 2013.
Yeah.
And a lot of us had ridden it a lot in our youths. So it was one of those situations where you're like, anytime we were in Epcot and had like a down moment, we were like, oh, let's go see, there's never a line for that thing.
That's right.
It's
You're
just
probably able to lay down each on one row. Like just lie your
honestly,
ass down.
yeah, we had it was boats to ourselves pretty much always. And you'd go through and the people would be like, you want to go again? We'd be like, yeah. I think we rode it a good 5 to 10 times throughout the trip.
Get it out of there. Get it out of your system.
So I have a lot of affection for it. And when we entered the Frozen version of it, I was like, oh, we'll see how much it holds up. I think I had a good time with it. It's largely because the bones of it remain the same.
They are the same.
And they remind me of the old ride.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you really grilled me about the old ride, I'd be like, well, there's 3 trolls. And I don't know, I don't really remember what
We're
else.
on a boat. We go backwards.
Yeah. So
We're in Norway.
There's an oil rig now.
maybe there's like
Exactly.
is there a Viking at some point or something?
Yeah, I
There
get what
is.
you're saying. I get what
There's
you're
like
saying.
Odin narrating it and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like you're not the first ones to pass whatever.
Right.
You won't be the last
There's
or whatever.
There's like little mushroom trolls or something.
right.
My point is, I think a lot of my love for it is solely just like, I rode it a lot as a child, not so much as like, this is a great ride,
I this is something I actually learned going to a regional theme park in the UK. Like you said, I really do enjoy the idea of walking onto a ride and being like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun. I like that. It's when you walk into a movie without seeing the trailer, which I've started to do now.
Sarah and I went on our honeymoon. We went to, this wasn't the sole point of our honeymoon, but during
the
our
whole trip
honeymoon,
around it.
we went to Efteling.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go.
And it's thrilling to
The
just
dark ride paradise.
get on a bunch of dark rides and have no idea what's going to happen. You'd be like, oh, I guess this one is about genies.
Isn't there one about a tree?
There's a lot. I saw so many things, so many images that are in my brain now. Some really stunning stuff. There was one where you're just like sort of floating through space and there are these cities on these planets.
Yeah.
And Sarah turned to me. She was like, this is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And I was like,
believe it.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure they had some tasty treats there
Yeah.
that were really nice.
But yeah, obviously a bit of a bummer that like these like old kind of beloved relics are just sort of being retrofitted for IP, but what are you going to do?
I
You
get
gotta
it.
Sell tickets to these fucking parks.
Yeah, that's true. No one's lining up for Maelstrom. Byron, what was your first impression of Frozen Ever
Oof.
After? Was this your first time, this bachelor party trip?
No, it was actually, I believe, my second or third time. The first time I went on it was actually at the end of 2013. Oh, wait, no. End of 2013 was Maelstrom. I went on Maelstrom.
So you did ride Maelstrom.
Yeah, at the end of 2013.
So you did ride Maelstrom.
I sure did.
I don't know why that sounded so accusatory.
I did
Like
ride
Jason
Maelstrom.
Clarke at the end of Oppenheimer right there.
It was late at night.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those like walk-ons at the end of the night. You're like,
That's
you're
great.
staying at the hotel, and like back then, like everyone got the extended evening hours or something of that sort.
Yeah.
And I was the only one in my family that liked it. And I don't know if it was for the wrong reasons. We all just kept saying Spirit of Norway the rest of the trip, like at random
Nice.
times, because they really beat you over the head with it. It's a kind of a weird collection of scenes, and like in the history, you kind of notice why, but at least it evoked a feeling.
Mhm.
There was like a kind of a weird sense of danger, which was cool.
Yeah.
It's just so weird. It's just it was perfect for Epcot. It was neat that it was novel in the sense that there weren't many rides at World Showcase. It felt like the most like full-fledged ride. I know they have like 3 Caballeros, but
I always wished that there were like a version of the World Showcase where every country had like that sort of concept, like a dark ride that did like utilize folklore and culture and to just turn it into like some sort of fantastical thing. It'd be cool.
That was the original intention.
You go to Canada, there's big beavers. And
Dude, there was a Japan when they were supposed to. Originally, there was going to be a Mount Fuji coaster.
Yep.
Fuck.
That would have been sick.
Oh.
The issue is they were trying to get the countries to fund these pavilions.
Yeah.
And so originally they did think there was going to be more rides. It's just unfortunately
so Norway really shelled out.
Or
they were like, we will pay for trolls.
We want to go backwards.
We will pay for 3 trolls.
Yeah, they're the only ones down
not
to
4.
do an actual ride. And it's also important to note that it wasn't even like countries that ended up funding each pavilion. It was like a collection of companies that were from that country that would work together. And then maybe you'd get a little bit of contribution from the government.
Yeah, interesting.
So it was harder for them to raise enough money to actually make more attractions throughout World Showcase.
Does Roots pay for stuff in the Canada Pavilion? I noticed they always have a lot of Roots merch there.
Oh, I'd have no idea.
Roots?
Roots.
The hell is Roots?
It's a Canadian fashion apparel.
That wouldn't surprise me.
I'm not
It's worth
plugged in.
looking up.
I remember
Canadian
during
fashion
I want to say the Salt Lake City Winter Games in 2003. The Canadians were wearing some great shit, or 2002 rather.
I could see you seeing that in your head. You looked right into
I was
your
like, look at these great Roots outfits.
your
that
little
the Canadians
your
are
little
wearing.
mind projector.
By the way,
up
the
there.
Winter Olympics are coming back to Salt Lake City. Did you guys know this?
Yeah, we get it.
God,
You like the
I'm
Winter
so
Olympics.
excited.
Why don't we enjoy the Summer Olympics? Those are on right now. How about that?
Yeah, but we're talking Frozen. We're talking Norway. and
Okay,
I'm
that's
just,
a good one. All right, you got me there. Let's bring it back.
I'm in a chilly mood.
We're here to
Bring it
talk
back.
about Frozen.
Yeah.
But when it came to Frozen, on my first impression, was pretty bummed out. I was losing Maelstrom, even though it was more of an inside joke. I don't think I actually felt that Maelstrom. Sorry, fans of Maelstrom, that it's like an incredible attraction.
It's cool.
But it was cool. It was different. I understood why they were adapting it to Frozen. I was not really on board with it. I was initially preferred Maelstrom, but riding the Frozen iteration and seeing the amount of fanfare around it and realizing that they actually like added some stuff and like put a decent amount of production value into it, I thought it was a cute ride.
It's cute.
And maybe I didn't feel like it was exactly for me, but it did feel like they nailed what they were going for.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I got on it with a clear head, I thought the same thing. I was like, okay, they're gonna reskin this ride. It's the exact same track, everything, whatever. And then when I got on it, I was like, you know what? They actually did a fair amount of work. They added some cool animatronics. They added some scenes.
Well, what
I'm on
surprised
board.
me is they added to the layout.
They did.
There was a few
In the beginning,
turns at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because Maelstrom you'd turn left and go directly into the conveyor belt lift.
It
whereas
amounts to about
has
like a minute of extra edit ride time.
And that's where you see like Olaf and stuff like that. So like when like the Olaf reveal and everything, I was like, oh crap, like this is a bit different. Like I didn't think they were going to change any of the layout. So
I will say the second time I went on was almost a completely different experience.
What? I mean, it's impossible for it not to have been.
I like that the World Showcase kind of has these like edutainment focused rides where it's like much more education. I'd say, and I like that they were kind of boring, and you would have these droves of drunk people kind of stumble into like the China Pavilion and watch a 360 film about the Great Wall of China.
Yeah.
And just look at everyone's faces, just kind of get drained of energy. I always thought that was really funny. Maelstrom was like the, I guess, thrill ride of World Showcase. So the fact that now people are descending upon Frozen Ever After next to like a Princess Anna photo op is really fucking funny to me. And I had no idea what to expect walking into this with a horde of 10 grown men.
And I don't know if you remember, we walked into the cafe right before getting in line.
Yeah.
And I think I got everyone a round of, it wasn't just a beer, because we were doing like beers and like for a lot of it, I got everyone,
Like
I think you were there
was it a
with me. I think Ryan, I got like everyone a round of this like Viking alcoholic coffee.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
It had
yeah.
Bailey's in it.
Yeah.
I think it had a liqueur. I'm hoping it was from Norway, or else
I didn't have this
so it's
because
a
I couldn't
true-
have coffee at the time.
So potentially we were all drinking true spirits of Norway before entering.
That was
Frozen
the
line.
idea from the Norway gift shop. But yeah, we got on the ride. It was an incredible experience. We'll get into that more of that later. One of the funniest experiences I've ever had on a ride. We'll have plenty of video clips, so stay tuned for that. But let's move on to some history, Byron. But before we do that, let's thank our sponsors. And we're back. All right, it's time for some history. Let's get into the history of Frozen Ever After.
June 3rd, 1988, Epcot introduces its Norway Pavilion, becoming the 11th country to be represented as part of the park's World Showcase. The dedication ceremony for the Norway Pavilion was hosted by Disney President Frank Wells, featured Norway's Crown Prince Harald V, and was broadcasted live throughout the respective country.
We stand here this afternoon as part of a miraculous achievement, not only of the creation of this magnificent Norway showcase, but of all of World Showcase itself.
Although originally intended to be a Scandinavian pavilion composed of additional neighboring countries such as Denmark, only Norway would go through with providing the necessary $30 million worth of funding. This was achieved through the association of 11 Norwegian companies that went by the collective name of Norwegian Showcase USA, or simply Nordshow. While Nordshow footed the majority of the bill for the Norway Pavilion, financial contributions were also made by the Walt Disney Company, about 1/3 of the budget, and then the Norwegian government. Anchoring this pavilion was a boat attraction that, due to technical hiccups, wasn't ready in time for this big aforementioned ceremony and television broadcast. Developed under the name Sea Venture, Imagineers working on the boat ride had supposedly cooked up a mythically charged troll adventure in which riders would journey across a rainbow bridge to Valhalla.
Whoa, fuck.
That sounds sick
Why
as hell.
didn't they do that?
They blew it.
Little Rainbow Road? That's sick.
All-
Also, Sea Venture, pretty weak ass name.
Yeah, but
There's not really any cleverness to that pun. It's not even a pun. It's just you're just replacing some letters.
I mean,
Essentially.
you host a show called Ghost Files.
That's right. But I'm not like Sea Venture is obviously trying to be a pun. Ghost
it?
Files is like, I'm on
but
the nose
if
here.
it had a Rainbow Road to Valhalla and was like beloved, nobody would question the name. They'd be like, Sea Venture kicks ass.
I mean, a Rainbow Road to Valhalla.
Supposedly, Sea Venture didn't work out because they realized that they already had a sea pavilion over in
see.
Future World.
Yeah.
Well, I'm more in the
The Living Seas.
Yeah,
Living Seas,
the
yeah.
Living Seas.
Did you guys ever do that one?
You did. I know you did. 'Cause
You guys
got
abandoned me.
separated. We did not abandon you.
Yes,
you
we
just
did.
walked off on your own and was like, I'm going to go look at some fucking narwhals or
No,
whatever.
walruses.
So you admit
were-
it. You did just wander off on your own.
This was probably the same day.
It was the same day.
Did you make it to Rock and Roller Coaster with us at the end of the night?
He did.
I think you did.
No, this was earlier in
I
the
don't
day.
remember.
At one point in the day, Shane disappeared and we were all like,
No, we were all at the Living Seas. We went on the little Nemo. We looked at Mr. Nemo,
yes,
his
Mr. Nemo.
the little fish.
Yeah.
And Mr. Marlin.
Mr. Marlin.
And then we got off, and then they sort of feed you into this. It's
Like
almost
a-
like a museum
like
or
a museum
aquarium.
/ aquarium, yeah.
Much to see, a lot of sea turtles.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Leatherbacks.
Yeah.
And I said, guys, you got to see these walruses. You are all just talking to yourselves. planning. Oh, we got to be here by this time. Got to be here. I'm like,
Hey, man,
look at
we
these
have landing lanes, dude.
Oh, you know what? It's a manatee.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
You tell me that's not. Look at him eat that lettuce.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, we all took a glance at it.
No, you didn't.
Yes, we did.
No, none of you saw it.
Yeah.
You had to turn a corner and walk down a little thing to go see it, and you guys all just walked away.
You sound like a toddler on a diving board being like, look at me.
He was eating
look.
a big
you
thing
did
of,
it.
like, I don't know if that's like arugula.
It just looks like your standard issue head of lettuce.
Look at this.
Kinda.
You're telling me you would want to see that?
I was too busy being that.
Not on
in
that
the World
trip.
Showcase.
Pre and subsequent trips. That was not the goal for us that day.
the goal. We had drinks to drink.
It would have taken a minute for you guys to come look at the manatee with me.
Well, it certainly took longer than that trying to find you.
Okay, keep talking about that.
Anyways, back to this bridge to Valhalla concept. Although the Norwegian financiers were down with the boat ride idea, they requested that the Imagineers pivot the attraction to serve as a travelogue through time to better represent their culture, or as some would like to say, the spirit of Norway. Sea Venture would also receive a name change late into its construction phase, so late that they had already put up a marquee with that title, which was ultimately changed to Maelstrom before opening on July 5th of 1988, roughly 1 month after the pavilion's opening ceremonies. Although tourism in Norway would skyrocket during the pavilion's inaugural years, Nordsjö was not receiving the return on investment that they were hoping for. So in 1992, they would opt to sell their share of the pavilion back to Disney. And although the Norwegian government would agree to contribute $200,000 a year until 2002, the lack of outside funding combined with little popularity for their anchoring attraction Maelstrom would leave the pavilion vulnerable to change. Fast forward to November of 2013, Disney releases a little animated film based off Danish author Hans Christian Andersen's The Snow Queen. The film adaptation, however, would take on a much simpler name.
I didn't know that movie was based off a Hans joint.
Yeah.
Dark guy.
Who also
Dark?
wrote the,
The original
guy?
Little Mermaid was
Yep.
really fucked up.
Oh, yeah. They like chopped off her feet or something. What do they do?
I think they fucking kill
Wasn't
her?
that Cinderella? That they cut off the toes
Cut
to
off her
try and get
toes.
the feet to slip into the slipper. I forget what rendition of that
I think the Little Mermaid dies or something.
Nice.
Yeah. And I think in the original Snow Queen, like Elsa gets like hypothermia.
That's hilarious and also dark.
Yeah.
The film Frozen became a worldwide phenomenon. It is important to note that the kingdom of Arendelle featured in this film franchise was based off locations in Norway, which meant that it was only a matter of time before Frozen would lay stakes into the foundation of the Norway Pavilion to ultimately rule it. So in June of 2014, it was announced that a Frozen ride was coming to Epcot and would replace Maelstrom, which ran its final voyages on October 5th of that year.
Damn. Oh, I didn't realize I saw it in the nick of time.
Right at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I did Maelstrom 2013. So
I saw, Maelstrom was like October 2013 for me. So Frozen was just around the corner. It was released a month later. And that just knitting the doom of that ride, I guess.
I'm not gonna lie, if they put like a ride in the Japan pavilion that was based off of a place that wasn't even Japan, but just kind of like vaguely Asian,
That sounds risky.
I would be pretty pissed. I would be pretty pissed.
Like a made up Japanese city.
Yeah.
I think you can get away with that with Norway, but you start doing that with other countries.
Arendelle's not even like outwardly like this is in Norway in the movie.
Yeah.
It's just
No, it's
like
just
vaguely.
they use
Icy.
locations
Yeah.
from Norway to inspire the look of it.
If that happened in Japan, I'd be furious.
And then all the people just sort of talk like this.
Yeah, dude.
Like, all right.
Could you do the accent that would happen in the Asian ride?
I don't, could you?
You nailed
No.
it. That's it.
Was that what they would call it? The Asian ride?
Yeah, dude. Honestly, that would actually be true to Asian nomenclature because, like, I grew up in a predominantly Asian town,
Yeah.
and most of the buildings were titled like "Good Laundry," great food,
Yeah.
and I always loved that because I was like, I know what I'm getting.
Great ride.
There was a ride called the Great Movie Ride.
Oh, the Great Movie Ride. That was a great movie
There
ride.
was a great movie
Did
ride.
you do an episode about that one?
No, we should, but it's just gonna make me sad.
Yeah. That's a bummer.
It is a bummer. Anyways, Back to Frozen Ever After.
All right, within a couple years of Maelstrom closing down, June 21st of 2016 comes along. Frozen Ever After, the ride that we're discussing today, officially opens. And over 8 years later, fans of the original attraction Maelstrom still can't seem to let it go. But the reality is that Frozen Ever After is what I had to
like that. I like
Very
that.
good.
Frozen Ever After remains one of Epcot's most popular attractions and will continue to take riders on a journey through Arendelle for many years to come. In addition to this Epcot iteration, Hong Kong Disneyland opened a version in 2023, Tokyo Disney Sea opened Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey with Fantasy Springs in June of this year, 2024, and the beat goes on with yet another Frozen Ever After being constructed in Paris for their newly named Disney Adventure World theme park.
I didn't know that. They're making one in Paris too?
I know, that was news to me as well.
I
Well, they're
guess it
making
makes
the,
sense.
it's similar to Hong Kong. It's going to be like an entire Frozen land.
That's cool.
I've said this a lot on this show. What happened to the Juicy Sclusy? What happened to just one park getting something and you have to go to that park to see it? Like everyone, it's annoying to
You know
me.
why,
Yeah.
Ryan? You know why? We're going to take a crack at the all-time average wait time for Frozen Ever
Oh, it's
After at
probably going to be
Epcot.
fucking massive because it's capacity.
Oh, really?
sucks.
I don't think I've ever. Oh,
What would you guess is the average wait time for Frozen Ever
I'm going to
After?
guess an hour. I'm going to guess 100 minutes.
you know what? I'm realizing that when I rode with you guys, that was not my first time riding it because I went in 2017 and I rode it then. Because I was like, wait, I don't remember waiting long in 2017.
My first impression of this ride was I don't remember my first impression.
Yeah. We got on pretty quick though when
We had a
right?
lightning lane though.
Oh, we
Yeah,
had a lightning lane.
Yeah.
Honestly, all that I don't pay attention. I don't go to Disney parks anymore just because of all this like
Yeah.
the genie's in your phone now. Did you guys see that?
It's not even the, is it the Genie? I don't know, because it's
I-
like
they
the
changed-
multi-pass.
they
It's
changed
Lightning
it.
Did you
Lane
guys see that Twitter
multi-pass.
thread of the guy who was like, I'm going to let Genie dictate all of my decisions today?
Oh, that's amazing. And what happened?
Horrible.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because they have the tip
Just
board.
dog shit.
I don't know. I'm back in another gift shop. I don't know how I got it.
Yeah.
Gift shops and like all the rides that he prioritized, he'd be like, well, the line for that ride is 5 minutes right now, but Genie's, telling me to go buy a pretzel or something.
I've bought 15 pretzels and gone on the teacups 10 times.
Yeah.
I'm unwell.
I think he's done it at like a couple parks now.
That's really funny.
yeah. What's the usual wait time?
So the average wait time is 62 minutes,
That makes
A
sense.
long time.
That's a long ass time.
which I think it was originally much longer, like the first few years, but now it kind of settled.
But this
usually
is
around an
also
hour.
a ride that I've been in public a lot since when did this movie come out? 2013?
Yeah.
More so after the movie came out, but you'd hear like children be like, Mommy, Elsa, Mommy, give me Elsa.
Oh my gosh,
And they
like-
like give them their Elsa doll or whatever.
Yeah.
Kids just go crazy. I mean, maybe they don't anymore because it's maybe not as instrumental in children's youths now.
I mean, they knew they had it in the bag with this attraction because over at Magic Kingdom, like right after the film came out, it was a multi-hour long wait to
Just for the
do the character
characters.
meetings.
Yeah.
And then they brought the characters over to Norway. That was popular. I think that might have been around the same
Yeah,
time as this ride coming out, but they still have the character meet and greet.
so
And people
parents
wait
are just
hours for
parents are just like, oh, I gotta wait in line for this fucking Frozen ride. or my
Well, I
kids
mean,
will cry.
Exactly. That's why you got to do it in the morning.
But
You got to get up and get that lightning lane.
62-minute all-time average for basically a semi-heightened version of a Fantasyland dark ride of sorts.
Essentially. Yeah.
I mean, how many rides have we actually covered that do step over that hour wait average?
Honestly, not many.
Oh, is that not common?
No, because like there's downtimes, there's times when it's a walk on. This ride is almost never a walk on.
Really?
Because it's like you said, it's like a kid's gonna
Yeah.
This thing is pretty
burn the
much,
entire park down if they don't get to go see Olaf.
Also in Epcot, there's not a lot of other like child friendly,
That's right.
Yeah, that's why Epcot's great.
That's why Epcot's great. it's the park for adults is how they marketed it at first. Anyways, that does it for the history. Let's jump into some fun facts. But before we do that, let's once again thank our sponsors. And we're back. It's time for some fun facts. This ride is about 5 minutes long with a drop that has riders falling 28 feet. I think that's the one where you go backwards. It's
I
not.
didn't realize it was. I mean, it's a very.
It's like
the incline's not.
the incline's like 30 degrees. It's not really. It's not.
I don't think that's the drop you go backwards. It's right after the backwards.
Oh, you're talking
section.
about the
Oh,
one where
'cause
you
they
see
turn
the
you-
snow monster.
When it-
You
yeah.
go
so it
backwards and
switches
then it
you.
turns you, and then you go. Yeah,
That one also not that much of a steep drop. It's like 28 feet
it's like
technically.
a pirate's
It's like a Pirates drop.
Yeah.
I think it actually might be less than a Pirates.
Quite possibly.
As well as an estimated ride capacity of 1,000 riders per hour, which explains the massive wait time. The ride takes place during the official Summer Snow Day celebration in Arendelle. I didn't even know that this ride was set in summer, which is why you see him singing his funny little summer song at the end of the song. Or at the end of the ride, rather.
When I finally do what frozen things do in summer.
Remember that? He wants to see what it's like in summer.
Yeah.
You love Olaf, right?
I think he's a funny little snowman. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could all agree he's a funny little snowman.
Josh Gad, I think he's doing the work between Olaf and Muncher.
Inside the wandering Oaken's trading post, which is in the queue, you can hear Oaken talking to you from the sauna.
Boat's leaving for the North Mountain. Should be a real hoot and a half, yeah.
You can also see him wipe steam off the window. Very fun. Frozen Ever After is the first attraction to use all electronic animatronics, as opposed to pneumatically or hydraulically powered movements, which is using air and water. You know, when you see like an animatronic kind of like stutter, that's because there's like signals being sent to the robot itself to move that way, whereas these have all internal power. So that's why everything's like so fluid. Very cool.
Yeah, there's some fluid movements in that. Is that similar to what they do with the Na'vi?
Yeah, it's the same kind of. They're called A1000 animatronics. You see this in Kylo Ren. It's like the T1000.
Be careful.
Yeah, I know.
Don't go too far down that alphabet.
Could you imagine if these bad boys turn?
Elsa's the prototype for T1000.
Just imagining Olaf with a gun.
Olaf turning his little twig arms into like a big knife.
A big spear, skewering children. The original cast and composers all reprised their roles in the films for this ride, having to adjust original lyrics where necessary and record new versions that fit the ride. So they got Idina Menzel to record a new version of Let It Go. That must have cost a lot. I couldn't find the actual estimated cost to build this ride, but just that alone.
Might have been in her contract, though. Some people, when they
I see what you're saying.
Get Disney roles like that, they bake it into their initial contract. Like, you cannot hire anyone to do like a sound-alike for any attraction. Like, it has to be me or it's not me at all.
Do you have aspirations as much as I do to be on a ride?
Yeah.
That would be my crowning achievement, to be on some sort of theme park ride.
Yeah.
The shittier the animatronic of me, the better.
Oh, maybe we could talk to Knots.
Like really exaggerate our proportions too. Like if they made me like 3 feet tall and they made you like Jack Skellington, essentially.
Like the crooked man from...
the Conjuring. It'd be so good.
Just be looking up like the AT-ATs.
Yeah.
Although this ride is a reskin of Maelstrom, they literally use the same ride vehicles and the exact same track. There were some additional scenes added at the beginning of the ride, namely Olaf's want to build a snowman scene at the beginning. And also the point where our drunken boat full of grown men realized we were in the presence of greatness.
Yeah, that was exciting.
That was the best part of the ride for me. Turning that corner and seeing him, I can't think of more joyful moments.
Yeah, that's like a sort of a peak. As much as I don't think I get as excited about theme parks as you guys.
Yeah, thank God.
There's there's those moments in your life when everyone's kind of on the same page and you're just riding the dragon, and you're just feeling the energy of it, and everyone's like, we're having a good time. It's like, that happens a lot of times too. Like if you get maybe you get on a ride like 5 minutes before the park closes and everyone's just losing their mind,
Yeah, you got the thrill.
Yeah.
The rush.
We were really riding the high when we saw that Olaf. We were riding the fact that we'd had like 8 drinks at that point. But
if you wanted to make if you were going to make like a graph of like how drunk we were on the entirety of the trip, this would be the peak. And then from there, it just kind of started to taper off until we flew home to Los Angeles. I think that was the peak for me, at least. And it's just really funny that it lined up with the moment we see Olaf, the animatronic.
Yeah, that was probably the peak of the trip. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It did go downhill from there.
If you were to ask, quite literally, yeah. If you were to ask me, like, what do you think is going to be the highlight of your bachelor party? It's like, it's seeing that funny little snowman.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't expect the animatronic to be so hilarious. They really do a good job.
And our surprise at seeing him, I don't know if we just forgot he existed.
I think we were at a place where we were forgetting a lot of things existed.
And then just to see him showing up there and smiling at us,
Yeah.
he looked at us.
The reaction we had is the same reactions that apes have when you show them magic, where we just couldn't. It broke our concept of reality. All of ours had like hands on our head, like what the fuck? How is he so small? Because like they do a good job of making him to scale of what he would look like. Because
He's small, but he's also bigger than you expect.
But sometimes they have like, for instance, if there's a character meet and greet, they have an Olaf character and he's fucking huge. And you're just like, I don't like that.
It's nice to see him represented authentically.
At knee height.
He's an authentic Olaf.
We could play a little bit of the reaction here. Here's us first laying eyes on Olaf.
A fucking funny little snowman. Let's go. Yeah!
Why is so feet? Look at his little feet.
That's a boat full of 10 grown dudes, 8 drinks, maybe 10 drinks deep.
I think technically it would be 10 if we
It would be
drank in
10.
every
I think
country,
so. I think it would
because
be
we only
10.
had Mexico
I took
left.
some breaks. I know I took some breaks. I skipped a few.
And seeing this was truly, it was a beautiful moment.
This was also short. This was, I think, right after, because it was fun walking around the World Showcase as a big bachelor party.
That's right.
All wearing similar.
We had the tank top that
Tanks.
Byron's wearing right now for
Byron.
those who are watching the
That's
video
right.
version.
Yeah.
One of the few times in my life I've worn a tank top.
Yeah.
We
We could tell.
We
Not from the muscle development, but just the lack of color on
of
your
course.
elbows up was
Absolutely.
just so starkly white.
Yeah. But we just before this ride, we ran into another bachelor party.
That was really odd. I did not think we would see another bachelor party.
And we all there was just so much brotherly love. But we all just we were like, oh, you're looking good, guys. How you doing, guys? We were all just kind of like patting each other on the back.
Wow, we're not the only crazy ones.
The best part was in both groups of the bachelor parties running into each other, you could tell who in the group were the ringleaders of making everyone go there and who were the ones that were clearly not into it.
Yeah.
Just by the body language.
Yeah. It was really fun.
Also, they also said it's typical to run into. Actually, Disney themselves told me this. It's like typical to have bachelorette parties go to Disney World.
And it was funny because you could see you saw bachelorette parties like throughout the entire trip. And when you could even if you saw 2 of them in the same scene, they'd sort of be like, they'd keep their distance.
Yeah.
And then when we ran into these guys, I've got some of their numbers. I keep in touch with them.
That's right. Yeah. One of them was in your wedding, like in the party.
He stood up for it.
He took my spot. Actually, didn't your wife's bachelorette party was at Disneyland?
She went to Disneyland for it. Yeah,
So it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool to see another bachelor party in the wild. They should have joined us on Frozen in the boat.
Oh my
behind
God,
us.
the ride would have broken.
Yeah,
we would have jumped off the boats.
We would have derailed it. We would have been skating out there with Olaf.
We'd have been banned from the parks because we'd have photos next to Olaf.
Just taking selfies on our knees.
Yeah.
Frozen never after.
Frozen.
The thing about this too, I don't know if we pointed this out. Our boat, because we had 10 people, was just us because of just the pure capacity of it.
Yeah.
So that was also thrilling. And that also was great because then we weren't annoying some family that was on the boat with us and ruining the experience as we sang along to the songs. Very ironically, I guess. Anyways, moving on. There's also an Easter egg. This is for all you Maelstrom heads out
Is
there.
there a Maelstrom Easter egg?
Yeah, it's the puffins.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. There's puffins that were on Maelstrom and they're in this ride. They're in the last scene
That's
of
cool.
Frozen Ever After. You could find them. They're there. They're puffin.
Oh, it's fun.
Honestly, I don't even know if I know what a puffin looks like.
It looks like a little penguin, but it's a little bit different.
I just envisioned like with porgs.
But yeah, it's exactly what I was picturing too.
Do you remember? There's one in. I think there's a puffin in Elf. Remember Elf?
Yeah.
The little claymation like walrus and puffin.
Yeah, but that's a claymation representation, I feel like.
It looks pretty similar to what it actually.
Okay, well,
I want to show you a puffin.
you go ahead and pull that up. I'm going to keep going.
Puffins are actually pretty adorable.
I mean, it's an adorable name. You can't have the name Puffin and be ugly.
Because Buddy says, "Thank you, Arctic Puffin." Look at these guys; these are
They
great.
should put elf on this ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Penguin-like.
Well,
but
there's
not-
those in this ride, and they're the same ones they used in Maelstrom.
Yeah, they're really funny.
One notable addition to this ride is the on-ride photo. And for those of you enjoying the video version of this podcast, you can see.
Do we have a photo for this?
Yeah, we do. You can see what is probably the drunkest boat of people to ever ride this ride. I would be confident in that. Here's that picture. Shane, you look absolutely fucking miserable in this picture.
I don't remember that. Do I have this on my phone?
I have it queued up because you.
Can you send it to airdrop it to me?
You
so I
just
have
look
this for
like
my
you're
memories?
saying too loud.
I have this photo of me taking a shit at Epcot
Nice, dude.
because people were like, "Where are you?" I was like, "I'm taking a dump
We could show that.
with my Ratatouille ears on."
Yeah, every time we text the group, "Where are you?" to Shane, he'd have taken a shit, looking at whatever the fuck it is you were looking at before. What was it again? The
It was a manatee.
manatees. And then you were making a manatee.
Do I look miserable on this ride?
You're. I know you weren't miserable,
I
but
probably just
whatever.
didn't know a photo was being taken.
You.
Oh, I was just holding my
It looks like you're holding your ears because of the noise.
I do look like a child who's like, I don't like the noises. I think that because they probably take that photo during the drop, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I was probably just holding my Ratatouille ears on.
you were holding your Ratatouille
Yeah.
ears on, but you have a concerned look in your eyes. Now that I know this photo exists, it would have been funny since this. I guess in the old version of this ride, you are, I guess, dropping into Valhalla. Is that the?
I don't think you're dropping into
like
that was the early concept before the
Man.
basically the sponsor Norway or the companies that
Do the trolls
created-
send you back in time or something?
they
I don't know.
basically shoo you away. It's a very weirdly stitched together storyline.
Anyways, moving on. This is the only ride in the World Showcase based on a fictional place. Though the architecture took inspiration from Norway and the Royal Summer Hus outside the attraction, which serves as a meet and greet area, was directly inspired by an
Hus. Probably
Hus? Summer
Like
Hus?
house. Yeah.
Royal
Hus.
Summer Hus. It was directly inspired by an 1817 cabin that is situated outside of Trondheim, Norway, as
Nice.
part of the Sarpsborg
I've been to
Open Air
Trondheim.
Museum.
Have you been to Norway?
I've been to Norway.
I've always
yeah.
wanted to go to Norway.
Yeah, I've been to Trondheim. Which
Does it
you
look like
mentioned.
Arendelle?
I guess maybe in certain ways. I don't know. Actually, funny enough, I saw footage. There is footage that exists of the Imagineers, like including Joe Rohde of all people, going to like Bergen and other places in Norway to do their like research for this attraction.
It makes sense to make the pavilion look like that. The characters in the ride move like the characters in the film because Imagineers worked with the animation team from the films to make the movements consistent. I'd spot it instantly if Olaf's little feet moved differently from the film. Would you say that scanned for you? Did Olaf move faithfully to the way he did in the film?
Yes, he did.
I could confirm. Our entire boat could confirm.
He was doing his little tip tapping.
Yeah.
Speaking of Olaf, he proved to be a difficult animatronic figure. Here's a quote from
Kept
Wyatt.
melting.
Nice. And you know, I love the fact that the project manager and producer of Frozen Ever After, he's an Imagineer. This guy's name is Wyatt Winter.
Cool.
Nice. Here's a quote from him about how Olaf proved to be difficult. Quote, Olaf is a small guy, so trying to package everything in him became a real manufacturing and packaging exercise, end quote. Makes sense. I never really thought about that if they have all these electronic kind of components inside of them, shoving them into a tiny little snowman, although cute, would probably be very cumbersome.
Yeah.
I saw a couple get vanished on this ride. That's the last fun fact I have.
What do you mean?
Well, Byron was there too. We were in line for Frozen Ever After.
Oh, people were up to no good, and the
There was
Disney
these two people.
Gestapo came out.
They came from, I think, the child switch door and tried to cut the line. Essentially, they come right in front of us, and we were like, "Where are these people coming from?" But we were like, "Whatever." It was an older couple.
Yeah.
And they waited about 10 more minutes to get to the loading area. But as they came through that door, all the employees were already kind of talking to each other. Byron,
Which it was all in, because the cast members at World Showcase, they're like from the respective countries.
yeah.
Funny enough, they were all speaking to each other in Norwegian, almost like yelling at each other. So no one knew what they were saying.
But they were basically yelling,
But they
these
did
two
not-
people are
yeah.
sneaking in.
They didn't look stoked.
Shit.
And so these people got to the front of the turnstiles and they were like, hey, you guys got to get off this. You're not getting on. And these two people climbed over the turnstiles, started yelling at the cast members, and then just sat in the boat. And then the
That shit
funniest
doesn't fly in the Northern Pavilion.
the funniest part was the wife did that.
Yeah.
And the husband was behind the
boy.
turnstiles, and she was like, "Get over here, come sit down." And he just kind of like
boy.
He had
shoulder
to
slumped.
push those doors. Like he had to, and he knew his fate. And
Yeah.
she just
She just kept
sat
pointing to
down
the seat
there,
next to her.
No.
and he knows they're screwed. Like all like the employees, the cast members are basically going to be ready at the finish line.
Yeah.
And this is the boat right in front of us, by the way. So, and he basically is just like, I'm fucking doomed.
One last ride
and
to
he
hell,
just
I guess.
pushes the door open and sits down. The boat goes, and we get in the boat after, and we're like wondering the whole ride, what happened to these people? And we're thinking like we're gonna see them like
Getting taken away at the exit.
because they're 10 seconds ahead of us. We get to the end.
They're not even on the boat?
They're not
they're
even
gone.
on the boat. Yeah.
Well,
They
they got
extracted
basically they found a way. The cast members found a way to not only get them off by the time,
Keep the thing moving.
but to get them into some exit hallway or something where no one would see the commotion.
They just whisked them into some kind of like side door, just never
Yeah.
to be seen again.
Wouldn't
And
it be crazy
on
if
some-
the boat like pulled up to Olaf and he just turned to them and was like, this is a society, you know.
His eyes turn red.
yeah.
Like the Squid Game, like
You want to build a jail cell, motherfucker? It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, that was very much probably the last ride of their trip.
I mean, and also the look on the husband's face when she was like,
Yeah.
"Come sit down." You could tell the way his shoulders slumped. He was like, "This is my last time ever going to Disney World."
yeah. You look like Jeff Daniels when he sees the bomb in Speed.
Exactly. He just kind of sat there for a little bit, and he really was debating marriage
Yeah.
or all right. And then he just climbed over the turnstiles, and it was real. And everyone was looking. Everyone was looking. And he chose the marriage, and that now he's probably in jail. I wonder what happened to them. If you're listening,
They're on the ride now.
I mean,
they're
probably
still there.
back. They're probably back where they were definitely tourists too. They were definitely internet. Like they came from some other country or whatever.
All right. Anyways, that does it for the fun facts. Let's move on to the good and the bad. But once again, let's have a word from our sponsors. And we're back. It's time for the good and the bad. What are the good and the bad things about this ride? Not too much here. We're going to keep this brisk so we can get into world-class tests. First good, the little town in the queue. Pretty neat.
Really nice.
I like when they make an interior look like an exterior.
It's always
Fucking
fun.
knew
It's
it.
always
I knew
fun,
You're gonna
yeah.
go for that.
It's like
That's
you're-
why he
you
loves
know,
the Mexico Pavilion,
I'm a
folks.
sucker for it. It's like
good.
it's
Yeah.
daylight, but now it's not. It's the same kind of feeling you get when you walk into a movie theater. You're just immersed completely.
Also, the Blue Bayou.
Blue Bayou.
You know,
also
you
a
get
good
that
one.
there.
Yeah,
Where else do they do that?
living with the land.
Living with a little bit.
That's
yeah,
right.
it's
Yeah.
not quite as effective there,
It's
but
pretty effective.
is it?
The beginning rainforest scene?
Oh, the ride. I guess I was thinking of the land pavilion.
Oh, I see.
prairie.
Well, no. The land pavilion is the opposite of immersion.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like a fucking
It's like you feel like you're in a mall
like
in
an 80s,
1989.
yeah, an 80s mall that's been closed since the 70s.
Yeah.
Next good. I won't lie. I was absolutely stoked to see Olaf.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's an adorable little animatronic. I knew I was going to be amused by his little feet, but I had no idea that we were all going to be this amused. I think Shane actually is screaming and pointing at his feet while saying, "Look at his little feet."
Yeah!
Why his little feet? Look at his little feet.
He's good.
He's good.
The animatronics
It's
are
a
really good on
really
it.
solid animatronic.
I'm glad we had that boat to ourselves because
Yeah.
like one thing I always have to catch myself doing and I always try and prevent is swearing at Disney parks. But when you're 10 deep
Yeah.
at the World Showcase,
in two ways.
You're
We had
gonna let it
10 deep of
fly.
drinks and 10 people on a boat to ourselves.
Yeah.
The most excited, I think, anyone's been on a boat in that ride. I'm not the biggest fan of this film, but the troll design is really nice. There's something about it that massages my brain in a nice way.
The troll design of the little rock trolls?
Yeah, I just like the design, the look of them.
They're on the ride, right?
Yeah, they're
show-
on the ride, and they look great in the ride, too. They got these fun little noses, or big noses.
They don't,
Circular.
people kind of forget about them, right? They don't really factor into the first movie very much.
I think they do. They
sing a
factor
little
in-
song.
They factor in pretty heavily. They're the
They do,
ones
they-
that
they're the healers,
Do they?
they
right?
heal what's her face after she gets bonked on the head,
Oh.
yeah, like the first scene of the film,
and then they save the other. What the fuck is the name of? They save Anna at the end when she gets frozen.
Okay. Well, when she gets frozen.
I don't know. Either way, I think the
Did you
design
see Frozen in theaters? I remember me and my brother went to
I
go
must
see it because the
have. I
hype
must
was
have.
like, this is the best animated Disney film since The Lion King. This was the hype at the time. And we were like, I guess we got to go see
Is
this
that
thing.
true?
No.
Well, Disney, not Pixar.
Either. It's, it's
What came
fine.
out between what?
I like Frozen 2 actually a fair amount.
I never saw Frozen 2.
Frozen 2 is pretty fun.
I got to check it out. Next good. Do love them animatronics. They're great.
Yeah, the I don't know which one it is, Elsa or who's the other one? Anna.
Yeah, one of the.
Oh, it's Elsa. She's the snow lady.
Yes.
She's a snow queen.
So she sort of takes the place of the trolls in the old ride
I think she does at some
because
point.
she's
Yes.
you sort of like go up to her and then she's like
Get away.
she's singing "Let It Go." I think at that
and
point,
you start to go backwards.
and then she like blasts you with a
Yeah.
winter wind. That's that's good. That's good.
it's a good sequence.
It's a nice part of the ride,
Actually-
and her animatronics are great too.
That sequence is kind of thrilling, honestly.
Yeah.
Here's a clip of us singing along to I would normally say we can't play any of this music because we would get demonetized into oblivion.
But our screaming,
But
over
our
it-
we're
screaming
butchering
over
it
it. We're
so
butchering it so
good.
bad. Olaf ice skating, also really fun. Love to see it.
does he jump?
No, he just
Oh.
kind of swirls around. I was going to say squirts around, but
They
that
should make him jump. Yeah, Olaf does not squirt on this ride.
No, he's Olaf, not a squirter. The backwards drop during this sequence plays very well with the visuals. Yeah, fun. Great snowman animatronic. I love those guys. There's the big one, and they have the little guys.
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
little
yeah, the
snowmen.
big one. Yeah.
2 direction changes on this ride. Go backwards and then go back frontwards again.
Is there no nod to the trolls anywhere on this ride? I feel like
Not quite.
somewhere there is. If it's in line or there's not.
Unless you count the rock trolls.
I want to
Yeah.
look this up.
I mean, I looked for some Maelstrom references in the ride. The only ones I could find is the Puffins, which I thought was odd.
Yeah.
Overall, I think this is a very successful reskin. Honestly, I think I get why they did it. They needed an IP that would bring people into the park. And as far as reskins go, they did a good job. They added some value. They added great animatronics. They added a couple scenes. It accomplishes what it set out to do. And then the last good I have is the amount of Olaf in the ride. Love seeing that funny little snowman.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Like I loved Maelstrom,
Yeah.
but also like the people who are like mad that Maelstrom doesn't exist anymore. I was going to do like an angry person. Oh, you got to bring back Maelstrom. But I don't want to.
You did it anyway.
I don't want to offend those people. But I do think they need to just grow up. Like, who you think Maelstrom's bringing people to the park?
Is there any ride in the world? Because you're not a theme park head like we are.
I love theme parks to a normal degree.
Exactly.
So that's what I am. Yeah.
Would you?
I'm not a thusi like you guys.
Is there any ride in the world that would actually make you angry if it got taken out?
I mean, the ride that I loved more than anything was Alien Encounter, and that's gone.
Did you get to ride?
Many times in my youth, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know. No.
Not one ride. Like if they took out Space Mountain or like...
I mean, I rode it. I've ridden it a bunch of times. If they got rid of Space Mountain, I'd be like,
Or did they demolish Pirates?
What a bummer. I guess
Haunted
I'll watch it on YouTube. Look, man.
That's crazy. You wouldn't have any feelings if they like just took a wrecking ball to Haunted Mansion? They wouldn't viscerally be like, oh, damn.
I think maybe when I was a child, I'd be upset about it. But now as an adult, it's like... Also, when I first moved to Los Angeles and I went to Disneyland, I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's neat to go on these rides. But then over the years, as I would keep doing it, I'd be like, okay, yeah.
I'm trying to think of the
Haunted Mansion
equivalent.
again.
Like if they took a wrecking ball to the Vista, or like the Cinerama Dome in LA.
I think I'd be more. I mean, ArcLight's been closed now since 2020, and that means more to me.
He's already getting misty-eyed, I can tell.
That does mean more to me than any sort of Disney. But that's also because like you go there, there's a new experience every time you're seeing a new movie.
Well, there is a new. I would say the experience I had on Frozen Ever After the first time was very different than the second time I went on it. Is there any other goods that we have here before we move on?
I got a little list.
Oh, well, let's hear it.
Once again, like I already mentioned, the extra scene, it's great. I like the lift hill. It has like the same like music and like chants from like the beginning of the film.
Oh, yeah, the music in the like the score of this film is actually pretty good, and that's used to great effect in this ride.
I do like how they plus the queue. With all due respect to Maelstrom, that was a dull ass queue.
Yeah,
just like some painted walls and some Norwegian flags. Nothing going on there. They actually like create this little,
a town,
like you said, exterior for
town.
interior.
Yeah.
They have like the Oaken's little like shop.
Yeah.
In there where you could actually see like a little projection of him like with the foggy like glass doing his little like, yoo-hoo kind of bullshit. I love that guy. I don't know. They made I don't know why I'm saying I don't know, but they made the Norway Pavilion super popular. The existence of this ride.
Well, yeah. I don't know if they made the pavilion super popular.
I don't have numbers for it, but I would guess that there's way more people that are hovering around that pavilion waiting for their lightning lane to drop.
Yeah.
Or debating whether or not they're going to get in this line and maybe like grabbing a beverage or sitting around in a gift shop or waiting for someone. The pavilion as a whole is probably getting a lot more attention than it did with Maelstrom. So in that respect, big win.
Sure.
A semi-win for the country of Norway for not sinking any more money into this still getting the benefits of people being like, maybe I could go to Norway. Did they shit on the culture a little bit? Potentially. But I think overall it's a big win for Norway.
Maybe. I guess like actually the first time I got on this, I was like, I didn't realize this was set in Norway. And it wasn't. But I was like, I bought it. I was like, sure, why not?
So I'm remembering, I think the three trolls were, they still have like merch of the three trolls when you go to the gift shop after. And I'm seeing here that in the character meet line, they've got like a little mural of the trolls.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's an added fun fact.
That's sweet.
That was homegrown right there.
Yeah.
On top of that, you already mentioned the Let It Go scene is handled very well. It's
fun.
It's that elongated backwards. It's like
I like that.
Somewhat of a drop. It's just a very slight decline, and you're picking up pace.
Yeah.
As like the blizzard projections around you are going.
Yeah,
it's
cool.
like an elongated Let It Go scene. It basically gives people what they came for.
Yeah,
that's true. You got to play the hits, literally.
And then my last good is it's not a book report ride. Now we could maybe delve into the bad a little bit about what they went with, but you go into it and you're getting, I don't even know if I want to call it a story, but you're not getting a book report ride. And I think they captured the aesthetic and feel of the Frozen film.
What are some book report rides in Disney?
Just a ride where you actually see the whole movie represented. They told the story.
Oh,
It's
I see what you're saying. So it's not educational. It's like, this is what happens in Snow White.
Yeah.
I see.
A lot of the Fantasyland little dark rides.
You're right. Yeah.
You're seeing like a highlight reel as opposed to like telling a story.
Yeah.
Which I personally don't like, which actually leads me to the bads.
I think there's times and places for it. I think having a variety. I think if you have a few book report rides,
just tell a story, man. Come on, now. Tell a story. Tell me a story.
Yeah. Wait, you sound like you disagree with each other, but you do agree with each other.
Yes and no. I think there needs to be. I think there needs to be variety. I think if every ride was a book report ride, it'd be super lame and stale, and then it would. Offer no.
But also, like Snow White. What chunk of Snow White are you going to show, really?
Now, when it comes to Snow White, I wish they went back to the old version where they just scared the shit out of you.
Well, that I actually agree with that. You've seen the original footage of the Snow White ride, right?
I don't think so.
It's fucking crazy. I can't believe they put kids on that ride.
Really?
It's like truly scary.
Oh, that sounds fun.
I know. And then they took it out.
They don't make rides scary anymore.
Yeah. No, that's kind of what I think stupid. some terror, some peril is nice.
You got to have that option for children. I was so afraid of some rides in my youth.
Are you still? Is there any ride that strikes fear into your heart, like a roller coaster, maybe? Like,
no, it's really just roller coaster where I'm like, this is badly designed and hurts.
Like Hang Time at Knott's. I know that. Well, you don't like getting on that because it rattles your brain.
Yeah, and I like it, but I've always been that way. Even like at Six Flags when I was like 9, I was like in Gurnee, Illinois. I was like, I'm not going to ride Iron Wolf because that one paddles your taint. You know, it's got like a bicycle seat.
No, you don't want someone speed bagging your nuts.
No. Yeah, I've just never been a fan of, because I think roller coasters shouldn't hurt. I think they should be smooth and give you, I mean, if they rattle you, that's fine, but I don't think you should get off those
It's a
things being
playful
like, wow, that
jostle.
gave me a headache.
A playful jostle.
A playful
like
jostle.
Twisters and 40X.
Exactly right.
So my last good was the amount of Olaf in the ride. My first bad is the amount of Olaf in the ride. He's a divisive guy. I feel like if you don't like him, you're like, I'm tired of seeing this guy. You see him.
I think if you don't like him, you get on that ride, you get off that ride being like, you know what, he got me.
Well, you see him like, first he's singing his like Want to Build a Snowman little song. Then you see him skating around. And then you see him at the end singing his summer song. That's a lot of Olaf. Like they basically like most of the ride is Olaf, which look, I like him because I think he's a funny little snowman. But I had to put it down there for some people. The projected faces on these animatronics.
Oh boy, I was waiting until we got into this.
No bueno.
This is the beginning of the end.
It's not good.
It looks like shit.
Have you seen the footage of when the faces don't work?
No.
And it's just a like
Is
literally
it like a blue screen?
No, it's just like a black mannequin face. Like
that's
a plain,
so scary.
A plain like face, like with no definition on it, just like a surface.
That's like.
But then the arms are moving around.
That sounds like a Junji Ito drawing.
It's pretty crazy, dude.
I want to see that.
They kind of look like the iRobot guy from that Will Smith movie.
Let's see, Frozen ride face malfunction.
Yeah, I'm sure many clips will come up.
Now, I believe the other iterations of this ride do not have the face projections. They
fixed it.
Whoa!
Isn't it awesome?
That's so fucking scary.
It's scary, right? Imagine you're a kid.
Yeah.
You see that. What do you even say?
Have you ever seen the video of Mickey's eyeball falling out?
No, but I'd like to.
You've never seen that one?
No, I haven't.
Oh, wait.
Is it the talking one? Because that's already inherently kind of like uncanny.
And Mickey's eyeball falling out is a great example of like, this is why we should not have. I like the malfunction of projected faces turning into black voids. I think that's very sort of Lovecraftian, and I think that's good for kids. But this is the sort of thing that we're going to be missing with that. Watch Mickey here. Here he comes out. Just
it's on a cruise ship?
Yeah.
No wonder why they got cruise ship Mickey out there.
Keep an eye on his
B-rate.
His eyes there. He's dancing around, jostling.
Yeah. He's getting that eyeball loose.
Yeah. Oh, here it comes.
Oh!
And then he just holds on to his eye.
God.
Like everything's fine.
Oh no.
His eyeball falls into his head.
Yeah, I saw that. You saw his cavity.
And then he's like, gotta go.
Gotta go look at my eye patch.
Away. Everything's fine. The black void faces is great.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Another bad. I still prefer Maelstrom. I understand though. I understand why they did it. I'm not one of those people that's like going to be like very upset about it.
I do prefer Maelstrom.
I get why they had to do this. The video screens in the Let It Go scene. It's at the climax of the ride, and most of that scene is just screens.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
They
have like a very ornate sort of castle foreground, right?
In the foreground, but the sides are all giant screens, which, I'm not a big fan of that. But it works.
What is this, Universal?
It's peripherals.
Nice, dude. Yeah, dude. Spoken like a true F.
What is this? Universal?
Oh, got it. Second take.
Yeah.
Story doesn't really make sense. Byron was talking about it's not a book report.
What is the story?
Well, the thing is, there isn't really
it's just story. Scenes from the film that you see in, it's a highlight reel.
They set it up very, I guess I'll say subtly.
I don't think so.
In the queue, they have a little bit of signage. It's basically just setting it up.
It's a summer celebration, yeah.
Yeah, in which it's like the anniversary of when Anna saved Elsa's life.
That's very
like basically
sweet.
the end of the first film.
Yeah, but then she's singing "Let It Go" in an icy tundra, and you're like,
it's
isn't this supposed to be
all
summer?
it is just to set the stage of we're gonna put you in the world of Frozen, give you your hit songs, and not give you any story whatsoever.
Yeah, and Olaf's ice skating. It's weird.
As soon as like the trolls like send you up the lift hill and like show you like kind of the they give you the exposition. It's pretty much like, all right, off you go.
On a day very much like today, Anna saved Kierce with an unselfish act of true love.
It's a ride for kids. They don't need to tell
It's
a
for
story.
babies.
They just want to give you the hits.
It's for babies or a group of 10 men.
That's right.
Yeah.
When it has been prefaced by 10 drinks at the World Showcase. Because I feel if we'd started on this ride, I feel like it would have been a much different ride through. The next bad is the wait times. Just capacity's bad. No one likes to wait in a line for 2 hours. Arendelle's not a real place. Wedged into the World Showcase. I don't know about that. I just feel like that's a little odd. I like the sanctity of the World Showcase being the world.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. I just feel like that's
Hans
weird.
Christian Andersen, is he Norwegian?
No, he's Danish.
He's Danish,
Yeah.
right? So they're just kind of like,
Yeah, because we saw him over in Solvang.
Yeah, that's
little
why
Danish
I
town.
got my noodle click in there, because I was like, where's he from?
Oh, I found out the mermaid cuts her tongue out.
Nice.
Fuck.
Which
Those
probably
guys.
means that like Disney's like threatening Morocco, like give us more money or we're giving you Aladdin in your pavilion.
Yeah.
Goes full old boy. That's crazy. The Frozen theming cheapens the Norwegian pavilion. That's the last thing I wrote. It's just it's going into the gift shop. I used to like seeing all the trolls in there, and now you just see like portraits of like all the characters from this film. Give me some trolls. At least keep the gift shop Norwegian. I don't know. That's just my thought. Anyways, that's my last bad. You have any more, Byron, or should we move on to the world-class test here?
I got a couple here. I missed the exposed waterfall that they had on Maelstrom. I love when attractions give you teases and kind of lure you in and create anticipation.
I forgot
for the
about
experience.
that. That was
So
wonderful.
Maelstrom at the front, they had all that rock work in the waterfall, and you'd actually see the boat finish its backwards portion and then shift to forwards before going down the drop. You wouldn't see the drop itself, but you'd at least see from the exterior of entering the attraction, seeing that little boat up there. And they patched that all up. My best guess as to why they did that was because too much natural light was coming in, and that wouldn't work too well for
They do a lot of like
the let it go scene.
Yeah.
So that's my best guess. But overall, it's kind of a bummer seeing it all walled off now, and you get no. But then again, I don't think they need anything to bring people into a Frozen
don't
ride.
care.
They could just slap
They don't
Frozen on
care.
the marquee. And,
No, they're not looking for a water.
and there you go. But I do miss that in general for a lot of attractions. I don't think they do that as much anymore.
Yeah. It's nice because you just hear the ambiance of the ride.
But
from
not
the
every
outside.
attraction has a funny little snowman. The
I
secret
wish they would have a little animatronic Olaf outside being like, come on in.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Don't you want to? What? Some rides I feel like have like, I guess like the Tiki Room has,
Yeah,
Toy
Story has Mr. Potato Head outside.
Yes.
Doing crazy little things, pulling his ear off.
Hate that ride.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Then last bad. This is kind of a nitpick, but because they can't really do much with the space they have. But the entire queue is indoors, and it is long, and it is crammed. And
It's not long if you cut the line and go to jail.
Yeah, I guess so. That's
Maybe they knew what they were in for, and they were like, it's worth it.
Worth the risk.
Yeah.
Willing to risk it all to
this is
see
our
the tiny
last
little snowman.
Yeah, this is our last ride of the trip.
We're never
We're
coming
not
back
coming
here.
back to the States in like
Yeah.
at least 10 years. Let's
Yeah.
just do it.
They'll just put them in the police car. Can you drop us off at the airport instead so I can go home? Let's go to the world-class tests.
Oh boy.
The crown jewel
the
of
moment
this,
we've all been
of this
waiting
episode.
for.
But
Yes,
before we
yes,
do
yes.
that, let's once again thank our sponsors. And we are back. It's time for the world-class tests. This is a rubric of 10 tests painstakingly devised by Byron and myself to determine if an attraction is world-class. To receive the highly coveted world-class pass, the attraction must pass 7 out of 10 tests. A score of 6 out of 10 leaves the attraction up for debate for world-class pass standing, and anything lower than 6 out of 10 is an automatic fail.
I love it.
That's right. Test number 1, the average tourist test. Would the average tourist have a hard time getting on this ride? Is there a long wait? Is there a complicated queue system? Yes, they would have a hard time.
How hard is it to get like a lightning thing
Incredibly
for this?
hard.
Yeah. Okay.
Because most families with kids, they do wake up early. And
Yeah.
so you have to be up essentially at 7 a.m. to get this lightning lane. Though I think the system has changed now where you can get lightning lanes in advance.
Yes. And this is what makes it complicated because as of the day of this recording,
Well, we're recording this in August.
yeah. But at the time of this recording, they now have the lightning lane multi-pass. And the catch with that is, yes, you get to reserve up to 3 attractions early, but there's a tier system
This
where
is
you
all
can
so
only
stupid. This is
crazy.
reserve
so stupid.
one ride. So here's the thing is if you want to bypass the always hour long wait for this, you have to get a lightning lane that is not Ratatouille or Soarin'. So you have to basically pick Frozen Ever After and dismiss Ratatouille. That's like your first like layer. And that's all a system you already have to pay your way into.
And Disney sucks.
This is crazy, dude.
There's rarely
man.
rarely times where this is under an hour. It's at a part of the park that the only way around it is to rope drop it, but you're going to an area so far away. You're basically, in order to get on this without a hassle, you got to study
a syllabus.
You have to study a syllabus, and you have to sacrifice getting on other e-ticket attractions.
And so my thing is, what average tourist, what family is going to know all that? Because honestly, I'm not even up to date on the new lightning lane system over in Disney World. I would have to do extensive research. And even that explanation you gave is confusing to me. So I think this is a fail.
Yeah, sure. Yes, fail it.
Yeah, it's a fail. Like, you're pretty much guaranteed to wait an hour plus unless you buy your way into it and sacrifice other rides that you're.
I don't know how anybody rides any rides at any Disney park anymore.
In particular,
are you allowed to? Are you allowed to ride the rides?
Can I get on a ride? Can I stand in line? Do you have to pay
for every ride that you get on?
No, but it's confusing.
If you have kids, you will probably be forced to get on this to satisfy your kids' cravings. You're gonna have a hard time getting on.
Yeah,
this
but
ride.
most families are rolling in around 9 a.m. They just got back from the parking lot and they're like walking up to a now 2-hour wait for this ride and being like, and then just wondering how is this even possible?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we're pretty well versed in like keeping up with the systems and and gaming it really well by the time we go there on these to these trips. Yet Frozen always baffles me. I'm always like, how the fuck do I get around this one?
If I were there with kids and they were like, "Oh, we gotta ride that,"
Papa, I need to see the snowman.
I'd be like, it says here it's broken.
Now I will say,
you looked at your watch to see if it was broken.
It says on my watch that.
It says on my watch I need to go get a Stein in Germany. It says like a beer cart's open though. That's crazy. That's weird.
Now I'm not jonesing to advertise or support this by any means, but for any viewers or listeners that just so happen to be staying at one of the deluxe hotels,
can you get in
during
early?
your stays? Use the
early
extended evening hour. I wouldn't even use the early entry.
Your kid's not going to be up then,
evening
though,
hours to get on.
Yeah, but what like 3-4-year-old's going to be like, okay, we got to wait till 11 p.m. and then we could get on Frozen.
They just have to get on after 9.
That's even. I don't know how much time you spend around toddlers, but
kids rally at Disney World.
I have 2 young nephews.
That is the easiest way to get on it. If not, if you're any hotel, I guess you could. But once again, you're sacrificing other.
It's
rides.
a ridiculous ask to ask a toddler to stay up past 9 p.m. so that they could get on Frozen. That's crazy, dude.
Fail.
All right, moving on. Test number 2, the Leslie Stahl test. Would you be willing to wait 60 minutes for this attraction if you've already been on it at least once, or if everything in the park was 60, would you wait for this?
Fail.
He was loading up with that.
No, that stinks.
No, I think this is a fail.
Who's waiting 60 minutes for a 5-minute ride?
Yeah.
Look, and we love that little
a
snowman.
5-minute slow boat ride for the most part.
It's a good ride. It's not worth 60 though.
No.
Fail for that. 0 for 2. Moving on. Test number 3, the smartphone test. Does the queue of this ride have enough to keep you off of your phone? I do think
it's making an attempt.
I think it's making an attempt, and I do think.
What do they have other than the sauna though?
Not much. I mean, they have the little town that's represented, but really it's a bunch of switchbacks inside of like a small building. And because the queue is so long.
The thing is, you're sitting in it for that room for essentially an hour on average.
At least. Yeah.
I do actually remember when I was there in 2017 and the first time I rode it, we were in line for, I don't think we were in line for a full hour. I think we caught it when it was a little lower than that. But I just remember getting real tired of the sauna. Like, he'd be in the window and they'd just play the same animation over and over. And I'd be like, all right, that's enough out of this fucking guy. So it wore out its welcome pretty quickly.
It's tough because I do think it's a well-themed queue if it was like a typical ride that had like 15-minute wait.
Yeah,
but because
it's getting punished by its own popularity where you're going to want to be on that phone. Like, you can only admire the facades and like the light, the lights dangling down for so long.
It's switchbacks. And
it's a ton of switchbacks. You're crammed with people. It's not the most comfortable. You get bored.
People are trying to go to jail rather than wait in this queue.
That's pretty evident.
I think it might be a fail.
A fail.
Yeah, fail it.
There's no There's no
Shane's got bloodlust.
There's no pre-shows or any like real story getting set up either.
There's posters, but yeah.
It's good atmosphere, but once again, I think it really gets punished by its average wait time.
Man, we're being harsh in this one. 0 for 3. Moving on. That's a fail. Test number 4, the Tony Stark test. How innovative is this attraction? Does it push theme park tech forward?
I think probably does, right?
It was the first ride to ever use all electronic animatronics.
Yeah. What about the facial projection? As much as I think that
Sucks.
is kind of a step back. I mean, you know, it's
They had already done that though with Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. They had done it with Buzz Lightyear and the.
But the electric animatronic system was new. This is the first ride to use it, so I actually think it's a pass just because of that alone.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I agree. That's a good fact.
I did not know that before doing the research for this, so you could thank all your A1000 animatronics for
and
this.
if you wanted to reach into the back pocket, although I don't know if it's irrelevant anymore, into Maelstrom, that was Disney's first dark ride to use black lights.
Sweet.
Oh,
But
I
also
forgot they had black
It
lights
goes
on
backwards too as a boat ride. That's fun.
That is neat.
But that's Maelstrom. But
It's an
either way,
inherited ride system, but yeah, I mean, I think that animatronic we could get it over.
you could wedge it for that.
Yeah.
1 for 4. That's a pass. Hell yeah. Test number 5, the Hollywood test. Can this attraction be adapted for the silver screen? Does it have a comprehensible story?
Well, what do you do when it's like the other way around?
Yeah, we've had this kind of come up a lot, and then when it does happen, we just kind of lean on the fact, does this have a comprehensible story?
I don't remember. I don't know.
It does not.
It doesn't?
I don't think it does. Byron.
They pick and choose with this one.
Yeah. I have a proposal to change this this test
Yeah.
or alter this test.
I mean, this
But
is
you guys painstakingly created this.
we gotta continue painstakingly.
They keep doing the work.
We have to do the amendment.
what's the amendment that you're suggesting?
The
here?
amendment is that what is it? Is the world presented through the attraction capable of being adapted into a film or TV show? And if it already has been, does it do it justice?
I think that's fair.
Sure. I think that's good though, because you clearly are having issues when it's based on an existing movie.
'Cause I do
And
think
you
there's
need to- and you need
attractions-
to maybe look at yourselves in the mirror and
Yeah, I think so. I think it's time for some reflection.
Yeah.
In that case, are we going to do that?
Is it changing right now? Why is this called the Tony Stark? What did you call
This
this?
is the Hollywood. So it's still
the
we
Hollywood
can still
Tinseltown.
call it the Hollywood test. It's just simply, is the world presented in this attraction capable of being adapted into a film or TV series?
Do we need like a notary here to
And if
make
it's
this official?
if it's the other way around, does it do it justice?
I don't know. I still think they need some workshopping. We could probably cut this out of the episode.
No, I don't want. I want people to see how the sausage is made.
The thing is that I just don't think if it's coming off of a movie or a property and being put into a ride, I guess it does do the world justice in that it's done well. But at the same time, I have no idea what the hell's going on in this world if I haven't seen the movie. So like, that's why I think leaning on, is it a comprehensible story?
I'll let you guys figure this one out and let me know.
What do you think as an outsider?
In what about what?
Let's say you didn't know anything about Frozen, like you knew nothing about the film.
Yeah,
and you just walk into this blind.
It's
Are
hard.
you like,
It's
damn,
hard to
I
say
bet you this would
because
make a good movie.
I don't remember the beats of this ride.
There really is it's just highlight scenes. Like
I think I'd get the gist of it.
But would you be like, that should be made into a film?
Probably. Because I'd see Olaf and I'd be like,
That's not the question.
This guy's not in the movie?
Could it be made into a film? Not do you think it should be?
Like
I mean, if
you were to ride Pirates of the Caribbean in the late 70s, not much story being told there.
I'd be like,
can it be
now if
adapted?
they hired Edward Scissorhands. No, I think if I went on this ride and it wasn't a movie, I'd be like, they really got something here.
Well, I mean, the
I'd
song
be like,
is a
this
banger.
is a good song.
The song is a banger,
That's
and you
a
got
good
the
song.
snowman.
Yeah. No, I think
the world is represented enough.
Yeah, no, I think that's it's a pass for me. I think they.
All right, sure.
I think for what they were going for in terms of providing like a legitimate Frozen experience and appeasing the, diehard fans of this IP, which there are many of, they did a good job.
Sure, why not?
I agree with that.
And look, we're gonna as we adapt these tests, we're actually gonna do some amendments going back on other past episodes at a different place.
You're relitigating?
You'll see that not maybe when we go over
Don't
to
you
the
fucking do it
when we
for
go over
my...
when we go over to the new channel.
Yeah.
And you have no power over that.
I still want...
You have no power over that.
Though I do...
Powerless.
I want to come on and talk about, something I'd love to talk about. Can I choose in the future?
You can choose.
Did you choose People Mover?
He did.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Which is ridiculous.
Well,
The passes in that one were ridiculous.
I want to talk about a hotel.
Yeah, it's one
Sure.
for us, one for you, and then we trade off.
Oh, I see.
All
I'm
right,
like,
this is a pass. I'm passing this. We got to move on.
Yeah, we're passing that.
2 for
So
5.
at this point, it can only fail one more before it's
cut. We'll see. The Simpson test number 6. How likely is this to be replaced with something new, a la Back to the Future with the Simpsons? They ain't never replacing this shit, dude.
Yeah.
I highly doubt it. I mean, then again,
no, it's not.
Is Frozen considered a classic?
Probably.
Like for the foreseeable future, will we see it like, Aladdin or Beauty and the Beast or any of these?
It's hard to say because I don't know like if kids are still consuming it as voraciously as they used to, but I'm going to assume.
It's an hour-long wait for this slow boat ride every day.
What makes those classics a classic?
They're building one.
They're like good.
This is a good film though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's probably a classic.
I don't think they're going to replace it. It's bringing us in too much money.
They decided to build one in Hong Kong.
Yeah, that's
Tokyo,
true. Yeah,
and
no,
now
you're right.
And
Yeah,
now they're
yeah,
building
yeah.
another
Yeah.
one in Paris.
Okay.
So there's a lot of runway here.
Passing it then. 3 for 6. We're moving on. Test number 7, the signature moment test. Can this ride hold its own without its signature moment? Is it a one-trick pony?
Well, see, I think the signature moment is probably the Let It Go.
I
But
think so,
then
too.
also, if you look at us sort of like going crazy for Olaf, I don't know if that's a universal experience.
If you took away the Let It Go scene where you go backwards,
at that point,
People
it's like,
would be so pissed off.
well,
yeah, but I would still get on the ride because I love Olaf so much.
Yes, but objectively speaking, everyone's going on the ride and getting, and their kids are dying to get on this ride to hear Elsa sing "Let It Go." And if you remove that from the ride,
it's still a pretty good dark ride.
I think I might be with Shane here. I think it's still a good ride without that.
Look, you got 2/3 on me. You could.
Oh, I see what you're trying to fucking high road me. Is like in the comments.
No,
and be like, I stood up for the sanctity
No,
of the rubric.
I'm not even jockeying for this to pass. I'm just trying to be honest with each one of these.
I think it is still a good ride without that.
I'd have to watch a ride through just to see. But I honestly, because like it's weird when I think about it. It's like, yes, the Let It Go moment is huge, but it's always like an afterthought to me. It's just there because the film is like, it's such a moment in the film.
Look, you have the additional scene that was added with the snow with Olaf.
I want to build a snowman scene.
You do get the drop still at the end with the troll.
Yeah.
So I think you have arguments there. I'm still staying on the
Let It Go of it all.
Yeah, I think if that's gone, it's like you might as well have kept Maelstrom.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to go with you on this one, Byron. I'm going to fail it. So that's a fail. 3 for 7 for the signature moment test. We're going to move on to test number 8 and the last 3 tests to find out the fate of this ride. But before we do that, let's once again thank our sponsors. And we are back. Let's find out the fate of Frozen Ever After. The last 3 tests.
The fate of the Frozen.
That's right. There's a sequel for your ass right there. That's when Olaf loses it and just
he goes crazy.
Just fucking goes on a
They got to do an Olaf-centric movie at some point.
They did a short of him, and it was a lot. He's one of those characters where you think this guy
was it
needs
before
his own...
Coco?
It was before Coco.
I remember people were so up in arms
People
about
were
that.
angry.
They were like, because normally when they do a short before a Disney
like
film
5
like that,
minutes.
it's like 5 minutes. It's
So
a full
15
20
minutes. It was like 15,
minutes or
20
so,
minutes. Yeah, I actually timed my Coco viewing. I found that out beforehand, and I went 20 minutes later than I normally would so I could miss it.
You know what you should have done? Gone and enjoyed it like I did.
Did you enjoy it?
He's a funny little snowman.
I think he's one of those
Here's the
characters
thing.
where you think you need more of him and you don't. It's like what they did with Jack Sparrow in Pirates 2.
I think if you go into it knowing that you're sitting down for a 20-minute short beforehand, you're like, okay, I can enjoy it. I can see how if you're going to see Coco and you're expecting like, oh, they're doing a Frozen short, probably be 5 minutes. And then when it's 20 minutes, you're like, what in the fuck is going on? But
It's a little bit much. It's like when you order an appetizer before your entree and it's way too big and now you've kind of ruined the entree.
I hate that, yeah.
And it's just like, I don't want to finish all this, but I don't want to be wasteful.
No, I think it's fun. I think at some point in one of the recent holiday seasons, we were like, let's put on that Olaf short and see how it is. And you know what? It's fun.
I honestly haven't seen it.
You should watch it. It's
I'll watch
fun.
it. I'll watch it after this.
It's fun.
Sure.
If it's a consensual viewing, it's not bad.
Yeah. It's like when they
It
put.
wasn't when I watched
It's a
it.
fun way to say that, but yes, I guess you're right.
It's like, can we?
It was forced upon me.
I don't know if anyone can fairly evaluate that U2 album that they put on everyone's iPods without asking.
Yeah, that was
You
really.
know?
That, I feel bad for them in a weird way.
You don't have to feel bad for U2.
You don't feel bad for Bono?
No, never.
He probably. That's true.
He played the Sphere.
That funded-
You think I'm feeling bad for a
That's
guy
true.
who got the Sphere?
That-
I've never gotten the
That
Sphere.
Apple deal probably funded at least 3 more sunglass purchases.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it brings us to the last 3 tests of the world-class test. Right now, we're sitting at 3 for 7. Let's see where this baby lands.
Wait,
Still-
it fails then, though, right?
well, it could go into debate land at 6 out of 10.
Oh.
I don't think that's going to do well there, though. But anyways,
So 6 is the cusp? If it goes below that?
if
then
it goes, if
definitely
it's 7,
fails?
it's guaranteed. If it goes 6, we could debate it. If it goes below 6, it's automatic.
I, of course, know this because I listen to every episode.
That's crazy. Thank you. We need more of you. Anyways, test number 8, the premature detraculation test. Does this ride finish too soon?
No.
You don't. I think. It's
Oh, does it? I don't know.
I think it's a satisfying ride. I feel like it's
Yeah, I'm saying it doesn't end too soon. I think it's
too long.
No. I think it's about what it ought to be. I don't think that necessarily, when you factor in like the wait time, that's like, well, I wish it were longer.
Yeah.
But also, do you really need it to be longer?
I don't think you
right?
need it to be any longer than it is. I find it to be a satisfying conclusion.
To me, this
Byron is stewing over there.
No, to me, this is one of the most notable improvements over Maelstrom, whereas like a lot of people, it almost like it was a running joke of how abrupt the ending to Maelstrom was.
Yeah.
Whereas this, they give you an extra scene at the beginning that preludes the lift hill, kind of breaks. It gives you more beats.
Yeah, Maelstrom, when it
experience.
was a little top heavy because you get the trolls right pretty early.
It feels like you just go up a lift hill, you get like a brief look at like the Viking days, and then immediately the trolls are casting you out.
I mean, to put this into context, I think it's a fuller experience than any of the dark rides in Fantasyland.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So I think it's a fair pass.
Yeah, no, I think it's well paced. It's doing for what it's doing.
Yeah,
I think it's a pass.
I agree. 4 for 8. Moving on to test number 9. The exit hall test. Do you see people be physically excited leaving this ride? Do they have that bounce in their step?
They got that bounce. I don't know. You guys, I don't know.
I personally didn't. Oh, we did when we went on because we were out of our minds. But I also feel like most of the people that are getting on this are kids. So kids probably are pretty
like
stoked seeing him sing about summer. Parents probably just relieved to get out of there.
Yeah.
They end with a drop, which is probably one of the.
Is the drop at the end?
The drop is near the end.
Oh, it's near the end. For some reason, I thought it was near the beginning.
Yeah, they have like
There's
that
2.
brief scene now with like kind of the
there's
fireworks and the
backwards and
summer.
forwards.
I guess I thought the
backwards
backwards
is
drop
your-
happened and then they turn you and then you go forward.
It's kind of a drop. It's like
It's more like a coast. You kind of like like if you ever been like the log flume at like Knott's Berry Farm,
Yeah,
you're kind of moving at like
You're
around
moving
that
briskly.
speed. It's
Are people going to get mad at me for not knowing the intricacies of this ride? I don't
think
know
it's-
what your fan base is like. I know.
yeah.
I
think it'd
think
be pretty
they know.
toxic.
I think they know what they signed up for. When they
Yeah, I think it's fair. You're like a known not theme park head. But at the same time, we all had a shared experience on this ride.
Mm-hmm.
And you did grow up going to Walt Disney World.
And you grew up going to Walt
Yeah,
Disney World.
yeah,
I think it's fair. As long as we know this ride, which we do.
Yeah, you do.
We know it.
They do the work. So I don't know. Does it pass the bounce test? What is it called?
Someone finally
exit
said
hall
it,
test.
yeah.
Exit hall test.
The bounce test is funny, though.
I gotta say it's a pass for me.
I think it's
for the people that are.
I was gonna say it's a
I
ride
think,
for
getting it,
children.
I think
Getting the
objectively
timing.
it might be a pass here.
The children are gonna love it.
The kids are going to love that. All right, moving on to test number 10. The last test, and this will be the final one to see if it gets into debate land because we're at 5 for 9. The fine wine test. Has this ride aged well? Has your opinion of the attraction appreciated or depreciated since your first experience? Or if it's a new ride, do you think it will age well?
For me, it's pretty status quo. I don't know. Again, I don't know if Frozen has. It seems like it's remained pretty popular with kids.
Yeah.
Based on the wait time for this thing, and it is rooted in something like Cars, which is just like, hey, I don't know, are kids gonna like this in 20 years?
You love Cars, though.
I do love Cars, but also I'm saying like Cars is not based on like a timeless thing. Like Frozen is.
He finally admits it.
I don't know
he
how.
finally admits it.
I don't know how authentically true it is to like the Snow Queen, but it's based on like a Hans Christian Andersen thing.
But you did just say Cars is not a timeless property.
It's not based on a timeless property. It's its own thing.
Is it timeless? In your heart of hearts, is it a classic?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
You really dug deep for that.
If you had asked me that after Cars 2, I'd been like, yeah, I don't know. But then Cars 3 came out and just totally paradigm shifted the whole franchise.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But has this ride, how about looking at the ride itself? The ride system's pretty outdated. The animatronics now have those weird projected faces.
It was outdated even before they.
That's what I'm saying. The ride already was aging when it opened.
And it's still pretty popular. So
I personally don't think this ride has aged well, given like all these new boat systems that we have over in Shanghai and things like that. And also the animatronics, even though they're the newer ones, the faces are still outdated, at least in the Disney World one. I know they're making versions of this ride over in new parks. I feel like they could go a little further. Honestly, I feel like the original version of this ride over in Disney World and Epcot has aged poorly, in my opinion. But
now, do you foresee them bringing those animatronics that they did at the international parks over to this version?
Probably at some point.
Because that's the thing. Like from a functionality standpoint, like the animatronics are looking dated, but like in the cultural zeitgeist of like theme park going, this remains to be such a popular attraction. And we're like 8 years into this.
Yeah,
we're over 8. This isn't one of those like I'm not gonna lie. I thought that like the year this came out, it's like woof, those wait times like 2 hours, whatever. Like after this hype ends in like a couple years, it's back to Maelstrom, like 15 to 20 minutes tops. It's just a casual boat ride, and it is still over an hour long.
They made a good decision with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty neutral, though. I think I lean toward. Honestly, like it's whether you like Frozen or not, it is sort of a Disney classic at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
The ride it's fun.
Yeah, it pays homage to the property, I think.
Between like the ride being fun for even people like us, who are just like, wow, cool animatronics.
Yeah.
Even look, we joke. Olaf is very funny.
He is funny. And he's little.
Genuinely, he's funny.
And a snowman.
He's a funny little snowman. And when he does his little dances
funny little feet.
And smiles at you, it's a delight.
Yeah, it's so good. Got those buck teeth.
So the fact that it's like mildly appealing to non-children and also kids just lose their fucking minds for it. Like, I don't think it's...
On subsequent rides, I still enjoy it. I do feel good afterward.
You got that bounce.
Are you passing this, Byron?
I won't say I have the bounce, but I do enjoy it. It's a great filler for me. I am saying that
you already passed the bounce,
especially like I'll say like on the
I was objective. That's for the children.
What do they call it? The Tour of Nations, the World Showcase.
Yes,
it's a highlight. It's a highlight on the World Showcase.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I think the World Showcase is the highlight. Like I like the World Showcase.
Yes, but when you're on the showcase, it's fun to be like, oh, we're coming up on Norway. Like, assuming you're not going to wait an hour.
It is one of the few rides that you get to.
I'm more excited for
Ratatouille. World Showcase. I think it has.
I think the Ratatouille ride's kind of.
I think it's aged well.
A lot of screens.
I've aged well, or I think this is aged well. But we will talk about Ratatouille another day.
I am going to say
there are thoughts on that one.
It seems as though two for you're passing it.
I think I passed it on.
I'm going to fail this. I think it's already aging, and it's going to be even worse a decade from now. Because with all the screens, the faces.
Can we plan to revisit?
Yeah, dude. 10-year anniversary of the Frozen Ever After pod.
I want to see. I want to see what those wait times are.
Hopefully still be alive.
By then, people are going to have to pay like $400 to ride it.
That's true.
You won't be able to access any other part of the park, but you can buy a ticket for Frozen Ever After.
You'll have to buy a Disney smartphone to navigate the park. This is a pass then. 6 for 10. Oh, God damn it. Now we have to fucking debate if this is a world-class attraction. That's a score for 6 for 10. That is in debate land now, so we will each get a little second here to say whether or not we think it is, and then reveal it and a little why. So, Shane, do you think this is a world-class attraction, and why?
No.
Wow, that was quick. Why not? It is a shoulder shrugger for me, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't give a shit about it.
I guess you're not traveling long distances.
No, like I said, it's a highlight of the World Showcase. I think
that's crazy with you.
I don't know why you don't think that.
I don't think that.
There's not a lot of, there's not a lot of fun like the Three Caballeros ride is fun. But
but I'm not going to the World Showcase for attractions. I'm going there for the World Showcase to like.
I want a balanced experience. I want attractions. I want,
You get that everywhere else in the park, though, is my point. I'm going to the World Showcase. That's the only park where you could get that experience, where like they at least make an effort to have people from each of those countries be staffing those countries. And
yes,
some of the architecture is obviously goofy, but I do enjoy it.
It's fun to have the little rides sprinkled
That's
in.
true, I guess. Yeah. It's I think it's a unique experience, and the Frozen of it all
I
is
changed my
odd.
answer to yes.
Okay, you're changing it to yes.
I think it's a yes.
Byron,
Unbelievable.
what do you think?
I think that it's a decent attraction.
No, I'm just sticking with no.
Yeah.
Now I'm being swayed by the fact that they're putting it up all over the world.
Yes.
So in a sense, like maybe it's world class in the sense that
They are putting
internationally it's going up all over the world. But then
But I think it does decrease the
I was
incentive.
going to say, does that take away from it?
But that's more a testament to the IP and not the actual quality of the ride.
Exactly
And
right.
I'll piggyback off that and I'll say that this is, I think, a decent ride that rides the coattails of a world-class film franchise.
Yeah, 'cause,
more
like-
so than it being a world-class attraction.
I agree.
They're really banking on the IP because what did they do to Maelstrom? Really, they were just like, put a fucking new coat of paint on it. Get
Throw
that
some-
funny little snowman in here. Make them dance.
Put some better robots in here.
It is inheriting a ride system.
Yeah, fuck this ride.
Oh wow, he really turned. I'm gonna say it's not for me as well. Just for what we have been saying, it's coasting off an IP. I think it's a fine attraction. It's fun, but I think like if they were to truly design a Frozen ride from the ground up, they probably would be much better than this.
Yeah,
And you feel the fact that it's a reskin.
lazy.
I don't
Those
know, it's-
Imagineers. Let's be
I don't know
real.
if it's
Imagineers
lazy.
have gotten
I think
pretty
that-
lazy.
I think it's a valiant effort for what they had to do, the budget that they were given. That's what I think. But I do think it's not enough. I think it's a fine ride. 6 out of 10 is fair. I don't think it's world class.
A 6 out of 10, honestly, not even the world class debate. That's the perfect score.
I think
for
that's
this
fair.
ride.
It's a
I think it's
very fair
extremely
score.
fair.
Yeah, it's got the Olaf bump, which is this is probably the only ride that you've ever covered that gets the Olaf bump.
That's right. Byron, are you? What's your?
That's a
I'm
no
saying
for-
it's
that's a
not
no for
world
him.
class.
Okay, so it's no across the board. I think
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Maybe if you're like that's bullshit, you could tell us in the comments. But I truly think that's fair.
And I know I flip flopped there for a second,
Yeah.
but that was me really wrestling and trying
No.
to make heads or tails of it. And that was a genuine sort of struggle with me. And it's a no. It's a no.
All right, that does it for this episode of For Your Amusement. Just a reminder, this will be the second to last For Your Amusement episode hosted on the Watcher Podcast YouTube channel. Thank you, Shane, for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Come back anytime, man.
I'm excited to come back in 10 years, and I'm excited to come back for round 3
Yeah, that's right.
soon, I'm
You'll
sure.
get that smoker's jacket soon over on the new youtube.com/@FYA pod channel. Thank you for helping us send this off. It was appropriate. You needed to come on to help us send it off from the Watcher channel.
And the next choice is actually yours. You get to you come
I've
back
got a
with
pretty
a
avant-garde
you come
choice.
back with a ride that you
We had to
truly
do this
adore.
one where we all had a shared experience. After next week's episode, which, as I mentioned earlier at the top, which will feature Matt Rial, the former producer of the show, the soon-to-be former producer of the show, we're going to be talking about It's a Small World. After that episode airs next week, from that point on, we will be posting episodes over at youtube.com/@FYA pod starting October 1st. As I mentioned, we are going on a brief hiatus after the Matt Rial episode for 2 weeks.
You gotta.
We got it. Yeah.
You gotta let that one simmer, yeah.
Please subscribe to the new channel right now so that you're ready for the next episode of For Your Amusement, which starts off FYA spooky season on October 1st with a bang. Extra terrestrial alien encounter with special guest Defunctland on October 1st at 9 a.m. Pacific time. But until then, all you audio listeners, please rate the podcast 5 stars and subscribe, and you can follow the pod on all socials at FYA pod. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you over there at youtube.com/@FYA pod on October 1st. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.